About your upbringing in the arts. When did you discover that you were an artist?
I think the biggest influence in my life. So listen, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I didn't have the chance to, or I have no memory of my mother, and that's a long story which I won't get into. But she was a beautiful woman, and from what I'm told, and when I lived with my grandmother, her mother, there were always little scraps of paper, piece of paper I'd see around with little drawings that she had done over the years. And as a toddler, my grandmother convinced me that if I learned to draw, then it would be a way of communicating with her in heaven. And being a child, I totally believed it. Plus, I enjoyed the process of drawing, and so I would do my little thing. She turned out to be, at the end of the day, she wanted to be a working artist, but she ended up being a court stenographer. And as much as she might have been good at that particular job, her true love, I do believe, was in the arts. So I got older and I went off to study in college, and I worked as a professional for many years, and not for many years, so more like 6 or 7 years. And then one day it dawned on me that life is too short to confine it to what strangers expect of me. And if I was going to live up to the expectations of any person, it would have to be my beloved mother. And so I decided to pursue the arts.
One thing that I really noticed about your work immediately was your usage of texture. And can you talk about some of the textures that you're drawn to and maybe give us a little insight into why? Because you have a lot of found objects and plant elements and natural fibers.
Sometimes, I don't know if it really applies just to Black artists, but the system, the art industrial complex, tries to confine us mostly to what they're what they feel is non-threatening. And but when it comes to people like Marcel Duchamp, white artist, he did the urinal that was placed on a wall and is considered a masterpiece. Picasso, who worked in pottery, ceramics, painting, whatever he could pretty much get his hands on. The art industrial complex considers them to be masters. But then when a Black person tries to do that, we hear, oh, they lack discipline, they can't stay focused on one particular thing, so they're all over the place or whatever. Why is that? The whole concept behind art is creative expression. And if some days I wake up, I want to paint, I paint. Another day I might want to work on a found objects assemblage. I should be able to do that without worrying about what people might think. Why should I use a style to enslave myself?
All of these vices and struggles that Black people have gone through, a lot of the artists that are here in the South, they captured the complexity of these stories. And so a lot of the art that I've purchased over the years has been showing and representing that. And I get fairly passionate about talking about this art is important, it's worthy, it should not be viewed as second tier or people who want to put labels, oh, that's that folk art. No, this is important work, and I really get passionate about emphasizing that this work needs to be seen by more people. And it's not, I don't like labels. I don't like it when people put labels on me. They're trying to figure out, well, you don't talk like you're from the South. Where are you from? What country are you from? You speak Spanish, you're this, you're Creole, or that. So I go through that. And it's the same thing with the art. Not putting labels on the art, but just stepping back and understanding what the art is trying to say. And the stories that the artists here in the South are telling are so rich, complicated, colorful, and important. And a lot of the work that I've collected, I want to be just an advocate for that. So lifting up all of that work so that more people can see the work. And your father's work, I related, it fits the themes of this collection that I'm mastered.
Let people think what they want. I don't have a style. I don't want a style. I think styles are a way, are chains that are put around the hands and feet of the artist. Then we are kind of expected to confine our expression within that box because it is a profitable box. But I think the soul of the artist has to be free.